BTS news today. In a moment that shook the hearts of the army around the world, Jungkook finally made the long-awaited confession. In the midst of love, trust, and a friendship that has grown over the years, Jungkook stands in front of thousands of fans, and maybe in front of the world, to say something that does not just break the silence, but it also changes everything. Holding the microphone with a slightly trembling but confident hand, Jungkook looked at Jimin with a look that couldn't be mistaken. In front of the camera, in front of the golden sky at dusk, and in the presence of a sea of light from the phones of the fans, he uttered words that made the world seem to stop spinning. Jimin was the first person I wanted to take across the country. Just that one sentence, but the resonance is stronger than thousands of love songs. The fans who watched live on the scene, as well as those who watched via live broadcast, immediately flooded social media with tears, hope, and abundant love. But what makes this moment so meaningful? To understand how powerful Jungkook's statement is, we have to go back to the beginning, to the very first moment the seeds of their relationship began to sprout. Since their debut, the interaction between Jungkook and Jimin has always been something special. In the eyes of the fans, there is a chemistry that cannot be described in ordinary words. They train together, share laughter and tears, support each other in even the toughest moments. In a world where relationships can sometimes be fake due to industry pressure, Jungkook and Jimin's relationship seems pure, honest, and unshakable. Small moments such as a silent look backstage, a sudden hug, and words of encouragement that sound simple but full of meaning, being proof that their relationship is deeper than just an ordinary friendship. There was something that could not be hidden, something that finally, that night, revealed without further ado. Jungkook's confession didn't just come. It is the result of a long journey, full of struggle, doubt, and courage. In a world of judgment, it takes tremendous strength to talk about what is really in the heart. When Jungkook said those words, Jimin looked surprised. For a moment, the world seemed silent. Jimin looked at Jungkook, his eyes glazed. Her lips trembled slightly as if trying to hold back the emotions that were pressing out. In a natural-looking motion, Jimin stepped closer, and for the first time in the presence of thousands of witnesses, he returned the confession with a big hug. It's like saying 1,000 unspoken words. The fans cheered, cried. Some even sat down because they could not hold back their emotions. The internet exploded in seconds. Hashtag Jungkook is real dominates global trending topic. Millions of messages of support, happiness, and congratulations. However, more than just the joy of fandom, this recognition means something much bigger. It's about the courage to love in a world full of limits. About honesty to admit what really means in life. It's about finding the one person, the one alone, who makes the whole world seem more beautiful. In an interview after the concert, Jungkook spoke further. With a tone of voice still quivering with emotion, he said, "I know, a long time ago, that there was something about Jimin that made me feel safe. When it was hard, he was always there. Not just as a friend, but as someone who makes me want to be a better person." He paused for a moment, as if searching for the right words. Then, with a small meaningful smile, he continued, "I want the world to know. I want him to know that wherever I go, to the rest of the country, or even further, he was the first person I wanted to take with me." Jimin, who was sitting beside him, looked down, trying to hide Haru's unbearable tears. But fans know that this moment is everything. The other members, who were also present at the interview session, seemed to smile understandingly. RM patting Jungkook's back, while V whistled mischievously, melt the atmosphere. Suga, in his trademark style, only smiled slightly, but his eyes were full of meaning. Jin joked, saying that he felt like a witness to the wedding, made everyone laugh in that very emotional atmosphere. Since that night, things have changed. Fans are starting to see Jungkook and Jimin's interactions in a whole new light. No longer just friends, but two souls who find each other in this vast world. Every look, every little touch, every laugh together now carries a deeper weight. There is an unspoken story in their every move, a story that can only be understood by those who really pay attention. Even in social media posts after the incident, Jungkook and Jimin didn't try to hide what had happened. They share photos together, not fancy or stylish photos, but the photo is simple. They both sit by the window, looking out into the night sky, as if the whole world belonged to them. Photo captions are simple. "Wherever we are, I will always choose you." One sentence that shook the world. Army around the world celebrate the recognition, with virtual events, fan art projects, to small concerts in different countries. Love is flooding the internet, creates a wave of positive energy that has never been seen before. The pop culture analysts even started writing long articles about Jungkook and Jimin's bravery, call it as a new definition of modern love, and a true story of emotional honesty in a stressful world. But behind all the praise for Jungkook and Jimin, the most important thing is not all that attention. The most important thing is that they can finally be themselves, without fear, without shame, only with pure and unconditional love. In a radio interview a few days later, Jimin finally spoke up. In a quiet but confident voice, he said, "I don't know what the future will be like, but I know one thing. With Jungkook, I feel like I'm at home." A simple sentence, but one that once again made the fans cry with emotion. Because, isn't that what we're all looking for? A place where we can be ourselves, unconditionally loved, fully accepted. Jungkook and Jimin teach the world about true love, not love wrapped in luxury, not a made-up love for the camera, but love born from the depths of the soul, grow through laughter and tears, and survive even as the world changes. Now, every time they stand on stage together, there's a new vibe being felt. Something you can't see, but you can feel. They have crossed an invisible boundary that limits many people, the boundary of fear, the limit of doubt, the limit of unwillingness to show true feelings. With that courage, they not only change their own lives, but it also inspires millions of people around the world to believe in love, true love, brave love. Once Jungkook's confession resonated, the ARMY world seemed to explode in one explosion of unbearable emotions. The entire virtual world is flooded with an endless outpouring of love. From South Korea to America, from Brazil to Italy, from Indonesia to Egypt, wherever there is an ARMY. It was there that there was a small celebration full of tears and laughter. A huge fan base from all over the world immediately moved and on Twitter, hashtag Jungkook is real, hashtag Jungkook confesses, hashtag proud of you JK, and hashtag Jimin my home topped the top 4 global trends for over 72 hours. On Instagram, photos and videos of that moment of recognition were shared millions of times. Each one is accompanied by a caption full of love and support. In South Korea, a group of ARMY held a big project. They rent LED billboards in the busiest districts of Seoul, aired footage of Jungkook's confession all day for a whole week. In Japan, the ARMY sent such a large amount of flowers to the big hit music office to form a mini park with the theme Love and Courage. In Paris, an ARMY group held a spontaneous snow bar, watching together, event in a city park, singing BTS songs while waving flags with the faces of Jungkook and Jimin. Even in distant countries, the ARMY does not want to be left behind. In Brazil, they held small dance parties on the streets of Rio de Janeiro, playing BTS love songs while carrying a banner that reads Amor é amor obrigado Jungkook. Love is love, thank you Jungkook. More than just a casual fan reaction, this is a celebration about love without borders. Love that permeates language, culture, and geographical distance. Love makes people who don't know each other feel like one big family. The global media also did not miss highlighting this historic moment. Time magazine wrote an article titled Jungkook and Jimin, a new symbol of emotional courage in millennials and Gen Z. The Guardian referred to this claim as the greatest moment of emotional honesty in the history of modern pop culture, while the New York Times, in its editorial, commented, "What Jungkook does doesn't just impact the entertainment world.